Yes. Oh, it is. It is. A big Thursday edition of Donno Daily here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. I am Alex Donno. We're with you every single weekday, 3 p.m. Although I want to send out a huge thank you and a huge shout out to everybody. And we got a ton of viewership yesterday. I had to go on early, and it was a slightly abbreviated show. We did our show yesterday primarily about Deshaun Watson, the Dolphins, We did it at 1 p.m. yesterday instead of 3 p.m. yesterday, and a lot of you adjusted your schedules, and it was fantastic. We had a great time, so thank you so much to everyone who tuned into yesterday's show. If you missed it, you can check it out on YouTube on the 5 Reasons Sports channel. And speaking of the 5 Reasons Sports channel, make sure, my friends, whether you're watching us live right now at 3:01 p.m. on a Thursday, or if you're watching a replay later on, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to 5 Reasons Sports on YouTube. It's great for our show, and it's great for the entire channel because we have so much awesome content here on 5 Reasons Sports. Good afternoon, Gavin Andrews. Thank you so much. Hashtag quality content. I know he's talking about, the quality that Sean and Manny bring, not so much me. Before we get to everything going on, Miami Heat, they impressed the hell out of me yesterday. And I said it before the season even started. I'm going to double down on it, and I'm going to triple down on it today, that the Miami Heat are absolutely built to win the Eastern Conference, and they have already beaten the two teams in the East that were supposed to finish before them. So we're seeing unbelievable stuff here to start the season for our Miami Heat. The Florida Panthers get another win, 7-0 to start the year. But unfortunately, there are some things happening around the league with the Chicago Blackhawks scandal and Coach Q that has put a black cloud over our heads. We're going to talk with Alex Baumgartner, who covers the Florida Panthers here for this channel. He is going to join us at 3:15 p.m. 3:30 p.m., we're going to get our best bets for the weekend and for tonight, because we got Thursday Night Football tonight with Barry Barger from BetUS.com. At 3:45 p.m., we're going to go deep into a little conspiracy talk, into some Miami Dolphins with our guy, Husaam Patel. Before we get into all that, my friends, and the people keep pouring in on the comments, I'll say hello to everybody. Before we get in on all of that, I want to remind you we have an official sports bar here on Donno Daily, and that is the Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill. The Quarterdeck, they have been partners with me on my shows for over 10 years now. They're like a member of my family. The Quarterdeck, they've got locations all over South Florida, all over Broward County. You want to find the location nearest to you, check them out at quarterdeckrestaurants.com. We will see you out at the Quarterdeck, the Sawgrass location out by the FLA Live Arena where the Florida Panthers play. We're going to be out at the Quarterdeck Sawgrass on Monday, November 8th. We're going to have a big watch party down there. Heat at Denver Nuggets, Monday Night Football. It is going down. You can meet me. You could meet Sean Stanley, Manny Chang, Ethan Skolnick. So many of the great members of the 5 Reasons Sports crew are going to be out there. We're going to have fun with you guys, and we'll take advantage of those drink specials. The drink specials never end at the Quarterdeck. 2-for-1 happy hour all day, every day, my friends. I love those 2-for-1 margaritas. If you check out the Quarterdeck on college football Saturdays and NFL Sundays, when you're out there on weekends, take advantage of the 5 for $15 ice-cold buckets of Heineken Light, Amstel Light, High Noon Hard Seltzer, and mix and match those son bitches to your heart's content. It is so good. The seafood is awesome. The sandwiches and burgers, the pasta dishes, the salads are great at the Quarterdeck. The buffalo shrimp is my favorite appetizer. And you can watch every UFC pay-per-view fight at the Quarterdeck for zero cover charge. You pay nothing at the door. So visit them on the web at quarterdeckrestaurants.com. The Quarterdeck, come for the food, stay for the fun. And by the way, we are combining here, creating some synergy between two of our favorite sponsors. We got a lot of awesome sponsors, but BetUS.com is our official sports book here on Donno Daily. And guys, if you sign up, for those who haven't done it already, I don't know what you've been waiting for, but if you sign up at BetUS.com to bet NFL, NBA, NHL, World Series, UFC fights, horses, if you go to betus.com and sign up using our code 5RSN125 at checkout, you use our code 5RSN125, they're going to give you a 125% sign up bonus. And guys, when you sign up with our code 5RSN125, send me a screenshot, send me proof of your sign up, and we're going to register you to win a $20 gift card from the Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill. So that's like a double bonus. If you guys follow me on Twitter, maybe I follow you back. Even if I don't, my DMs are open. Send me a screenshot. Send me proof that you signed up at BetUS with our code, and you're going to be registered to win one of two. There are two of these Quarterdeck $20 gift cards that I have. So if you sign up at BetUS, you can go dine and drink at the Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill. But guys, use our promo code 5RSN125 and bet sports, casino, horses, pop culture, and more at BetUS.com. You bet, you win, you get paid. BetUS.com. Oh, hello to Big John Stud, my dude. We're going to get him back on the show next Wednesday. Big John Stud, thank you so much for the super chat donation. Told you I was here, bro. You got my brother Go Heat all in on Tua and grits. I know our guy Sean Stanley loves grits, so he's all over that life as well. Maximus says, Heat in 5, baby. Heat in 5. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So the Miami Heat last night, they go into Brooklyn. And folks, if you weren't looking very closely at the logo on the floor and you were just listening to the fans out there in Brooklyn, New York, you could have sworn that was a Miami Heat home game. Every time the Heat beat the Nets in Brooklyn, you start to hear those, let's go Heat, let's go Heat, let's go Heat chants. Woo! Humiliating to the Brooklyn Nets. Miami Heat get it done 106-93. So, guys, in 4 games for the Miami Heat. Now, you had a rough performance in an overtime loss in Indiana. Beyond that, you beat a bad Magic team, but you opened up the season hammering the NBA champions. And I know they were without some players, but when you still have Giannis Antetokounmpo and Chris Middleton on the floor, they have no business getting torched to the Bucks the way that they did against the Miami Heat. So you've already torched the Milwaukee Bucks. You comfortably beat the Brooklyn Nets on the road last night. These are the two teams that everybody had pegged finishing in front of the Heat in the Eastern Conference. And you've already taken care of your business once at home, once on the road against the two teams in the East that consensus everybody thinks were better than the Miami Heat. We are sending signals. We are sending smoke signals out there. People need to start taking this team seriously. And yes, Aaron Anders, Cocky Heat fan, is back. Of course, Cocky Heat fan is back. And Zachary B says, real Miami sports. I feel you. Absolutely, I feel you. No national attention, said King Dav. I think the Heat should start to get that, man. You look at the needs that the Miami Heat have addressed here. So you came into this season coming off kind of a rough year last year and a very unceremonious playoff exit. You got swept. You got clowned by the Bucks in the playoffs last year, getting swept 4-0. So you looked at the big needs for this Miami Heat team heading into this season. You had a major need at the point guard position, and you addressed that in spades. Kyle Lowry is a spark plug. The way that they can push the ball down the floor and the way that he incorporates the long passes and the lob passes and the speed with which Kyle Lowry executes, he is an absolute godsend. And I don't care that he's 35 years old. This guy still has 2, 3, maybe even 4 solid NBA seasons left in him, and he is absolutely elite. So you address point guard in a big way. Now, I worry a little bit about what this team looks like without Kyle Lowry on the floor because they didn't have him on the floor in Indiana, and they suffered for it. So hopefully they can find a plan B. But they address point guard in a big way, and it's paying off already because Lowry is absolutely elite. And the Miami Heat addressed their rebounding. Even though they didn't add a lot of height, as our friend Brady Hawk would say, they added a lot of quality width. Guys, if the Heat are going to make a deep playoff run, and if the Heat are going to make it back to the NBA Finals, which I think they can absolutely do, PJ Tucker is going to be a key. And I know that Tucker is not one of the big 3 or even the big 4 that you talk about. Of course, to get to the NBA Finals, you need Jimmy to be great. You need Bam to be great. You need Lowry to be great. And you need Tyler Hero needs to be special, right? But you also need PJ Tucker's toughness. And there are some nights, like last night, he even had a nice offensive game. He scored 15 points. In the game against the Magic, he scored 0 points, and he still had a huge effect on that basketball game with his presence and with his defense. And my God, last night, the work that he was doing on Kevin Durant. Now, we talked about this yesterday. You don't shut down KD. KD is an offensive virtuoso. Like, you don't shut that guy down, but frustrating him and holding Kevin Durant to just 25 points and 50% from the floor, that is a success. To badger and to limit Kevin Durant is exactly what you need from PJ Tucker. And the Heat's rebounding has been addressed in a massive, massive way, because that was another big problem. Point guard play, consistent point guard play, and rebounding were problems for the Heat last year. The Heat out-rebounded the Milwaukee Bucks already, and the Heat smashed the Brooklyn Nets in their house on the boards yesterday. Miami out-rebounding Brooklyn 62-42 yesterday. And listen, I know that the Brooklyn Nets excuse makers would say, well, yeah, no Kyrie Irving. Imagine how much better we'll be with Kyrie. I mean, is Kyrie ever going to play for the Nets again? Is he ever going to play in the NBA again? Like, you can't count on Kyrie coming back. And I was listening to the conversation that Ethan Skolnick and company were having on 5 on the Floor, and I was also reading Ethan tweeting about this, and he's 100% right about the Brooklyn Nets. Like, for as much as the Heat shined last night, and we see the Nets have struggled for consistency, they're 2-3 now on the season. The Heat are 3-1. The Brooklyn Nets have a real toughness problem. That team is not only mentally soft, right? When you think about Kevin Durant, who lets tweets get in his feelings, Kyrie Irving is a certified lunatic. James Harden can be mentally soft and soft around the belly sometimes when he lets himself go. Like, that team is not only mentally soft, they are physically soft. The Heat, from a physicality standpoint, the Miami Heat are built to beat the Brooklyn Nets in a playoff series. I believe the Milwaukee Bucks will be the number one challenge over the Brooklyn Nets, even though the Nets were the media darlings heading into the season. Milwaukee in a playoff series, obviously, still a really tough matchup for Miami. But let's not discount the PJ Tucker factor. Not only did the Heat add an amazing piece to help their own squad in adding PJ Tucker, they also took PJ Tucker away from Milwaukee. So that's a double whammy there, folks. Not only the addition for the Heat, but the subtraction from Milwaukee. This team is actually built to win the East. And I was reading what George Sedano was tweeting last night, that, the Heat, it's early in the season, yes, but the Heat look like they have a championship level defense. I concur, and I agree wholeheartedly. Ethan Skolnick on the 5 Reasons Sports account was tweeting about the 1990s Pat Riley vibes that this team brings with their toughness on the defensive end. This is like the 90s Riley team retrofitted for the 21st century. Because not only do you get that defensive toughness, this team has much higher offensive potential than the Riley teams of the 90s did. Because in the 90s, it was okay. Sometimes you would score just 85 points in a game and you still win, right? That doesn't really hold true in today's NBA. That was more of a thing of the past than it is a thing of the present. Now, we're going to bring on our first guest of the day in a moment because, listen, for all the positive vibes that we had on the court last night, and on the actual ice, because the Florida Panthers are off to a tremendous start, 7-0-0 on the season, tops in the National Hockey League in the standings. They're on top of every publication's power rankings at this point. The team has been tremendous. There is a gigantic story brewing, and this is bigger than just the National Hockey League. I mean, every now and then you get a story that transcends sports, right? This is on every news station. They're having to, devote special outside the lines episodes to this. The horrific sexual assault scandal of the Chicago Blackhawks in 2010 that has come to a head and has been uncovered and documented and widely reported in recent days. Of course, it does have an effect on the Florida Panthers because the Chicago Blackhawks head coach at the time when they made their run to the Stanley Cup that year and they allegedly covered up this horrific scandal, the head coach at the time was our very own Joel Quenneville, Coach Q. Now, Quenneville had claimed he didn't know anything about it, washed his hands of it like Pontius Pilate. Well, John Doe, number one, who courageously came forward. I mean, not only can I not imagine what Kyle Beach, who identified himself John Doe number one, not only can I not imagine what he went through, and I hope I or any one of my loved ones never has to imagine what he experienced, but I can only imagine how difficult it is to go public and talk about it. And, he said on the record, he doesn't see any way that Coach Q didn't know about it, that they were holding multiple meetings in Coach Q's office about it and allegedly about covering it up. So this looks awful. And, listen, for a guy who's been around long enough to see, sadly, multiple scandals in sports, this brings up a lot of Penn State vibes. This brings up serious Joe Paterno vibes, with the Joe Paterno in this equation allegedly being Coach Q. It brings up a lot of vibes to that past. So we'll see what happens. Now, I don't have any updates, and I don't know if anyone has any updates, because Coach Q was having his meeting in New York in the commissioner's office at 2 p.m. I don't know if that's still going on or if there are any exit reports there. So let's bring on our first guest of the day, who does an impeccable freaking job covering Florida Panthers hockey on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Alex Baumgartner joins us. Alex, good afternoon, man. And I apologize for having to bring you on and talking about such heavy stuff, man. So first of all, before we get into it, let me ask you, how are you doing? How's everything?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me again, Donno.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. So, first and foremost, I imagine the answer to this is probably no, but are there any early reports about what's happening in that commissioner's meeting with Coach Q?
Yeah, so I haven't seen anything from any early exits of that. Yesterday in the press conference, we were waiting for Coach Quenneville. We were in there for about 30 minutes. Alexander Barkov came, Aaron Ekblad came, and then we kind of sat there for a bit. There was quite a few media members there, more than you would usually see. Some Canadian media there as well, TSN Sportsnet. So we were all waiting for Coach Quenneville. And Bill Zito came, and the second Bill Zito came, you kind of knew you probably weren't going to see Q. He read the statement about Kyle Beach. First of all, thank you so much to him for coming out and telling his story. If you haven't watched that, I suggest to go and watch that. It's on TSN. Rick Westhead did an amazing job with investigative journalism piece. But yeah, Coach Quenneville did not speak to the media. Bill Zito did say about 2 p.m. today was when he was expected to meet. Coach Quenneville was expected to meet with the NHL, Gary Bettman. Nothing's come out yet. Don't know if they're done with that meeting. It is also important to note that Kevin Cheveldayoff, if I mispronounced the name, sorry.
I'm so glad you took a stab at that, because
yeah.
I attempted to read that name on my show yesterday, and I felt humiliated that I even tried.
I've said some different names before for him, but he's having his meeting, I believe, on Monday. So even if the Q meeting is done, I don't know if they're going to come to a decision on what to do until after they have the meeting with Cheveldayoff.
Do you have any hunch what happens here? And if you don't want to speculate, that's fine. But I don't know if you have any feeling on what the Panthers do next.
Obviously, there was a 107-page report that came out from Jenner and Block just a few days ago. So I'm not going to touch too much on it. You can go ahead and read that 107-page report. Yeah. But the Panthers definitely faced some backlash yesterday because Quenneville was going to have his meeting today. That report came out an hour before puck drop. Kyle Beach came out as John Doe 1. Coach Q did sit on the bench, and then he didn't speak to the media. So the Panthers, they've definitely heard from the audience and from hockey fans worldwide. I don't really know what's going to happen next. But yeah, they have, I think, Detroit coming up soon. So I don't know if Q is going to be behind the bench. Not too sure.
Now let me ask you this, because neither of us can really speculate here. So let me ask you a hypothetical. Like, if it did come to something where Coach Q gets let go or suspended for a long period of time, because obviously this team is off to a fantastic start, right? And a lot of people I see wondering and even asking me, how would it actually affect the team if you take their current head coach off of the bench? Like, do you think that this team is strong enough that they can still be one of the top teams in the NHL and a Stanley Cup contender, even if they don't have their proven winning head coach on the bench?
I believe so. This team, first of all, I think it's important to remember Quenneville wasn't a Bill Zito hire. So Bill Zito came in while Q was already the coach, and Zito kind of built this team his own way. So I think if they do eventually move on from Quenneville, Zito will find a suitable person to stand behind the bench. And from the way this team played yesterday, I think that it's hard to say when you lose a coach so early on into the season, especially when you're undefeated. But sometimes that's a second thought, and the Panthers will have to do what they think is right.
Let me bring up this comment to get some clarity on this, because I think it sounds like you've read the full report. I read several excerpts from it. So I just want to be clear on this. David asks, also, we are focused on what Coach Q knew, but wouldn't Gary Bettman be told of said event? And Gary would know as well. I say from everything that I read, Alex, it sounds like the Blackhawks kept it in house. I don't think anybody went to the commissioner with this, so he wouldn't have known about this. Is my assessment correct, or do you think otherwise?
It's hard to say if the league was notified. Yesterday, there was a statement from the NHLPA executive director, Don Fear. His name was brought up, I believe, yesterday at some point, and he released a statement saying, just coming out and talking about what happened with Kyle Beach. Nothing negative, just kind of a general statement. It's at this point, I don't think we're gonna know if the league knew about this at all. Yeah, I don't know. It's possible, but we're not gonna make any assumptions.
Right. Yeah, I hear you. I didn't know if there was anything in the report that indicated they did. That's why I wanted to bring that up to you. So we're all going to wait with bated breath to see what comes out of the meeting today. Even if we don't find more out, like you pointed out, it might not be till Monday. As far as on the ice goes, I mean, this team has been so much fun to watch. We couldn't have asked for a better start than the one that they've given us. Now, Panthers fans who have been at this for decades, they know what it's like to feel disappointment, Alex. So do you believe what they have on the ice this season is sustainable?
So I know on this show, some of your fans don't want you to, I believe it's mush the team. So I'm not going to come out here and mush the team.
Well, the thing is, I think, and I might be wrong, but I think the mushing stuff on this show is just the words that come out of my mouth.
Okay.
Because I've had guests on that say things where I just kind of sit back and okay, I'm not going to comment on that. So I think it's probably okay if you say whatever is on your mind. I just have to be careful because I'm the real mush here.
So when you kind of look at the way championship teams are built in hockey, there's obviously the top six is where you have most of your offense coming from. That's where guys like Alexander Barkov and Jonathan Huberdeau are playing. If you look at Tampa, it's been Stamkos, Point, Kucherov. That's your top six. Tampa was very successful with their bottom six, with their depth lines, and that's why they were so good the last 2 years. I think this year, Tampa's kind of struggling a little bit, and that's in large part due to them losing guys from that bottom six like Yanni Gourde and Barclay Goodrow and Blake Coleman. Now you look at the Panthers, their third line, obviously there's line changes every once in a while. Sam Reinhart's on the third line of this team. Yeah. Anton Lundell, when he is healthy, he hasn't played the last 2 games, I believe. He's on the third line of this team. Your fourth line is Patrick Hornqvist, Joe Thornton, Frank Vetrano kind of interchanging. Ryan Lomberg hasn't played recently. Mason Marchment's on the third line. It's very interchangeable, but that proves the depth of this team on the forward side. And you need that come a playoff series when you're getting offense from your guys that aren't in the top six. So I think that's why it's been so helpful right now in the season being 7-0. Just because you're getting scoring. The Panthers have scored in their 7 games, 4 or more goals in each of those games.
I know. I love it.
And that's just fun to watch. Kind of crazy. And a lot of last game, first 2 goals, Eetu Luostarinen, Mason Marchment. It's coming from the bottom lines. So I think the forward unit's really helping this team out.
And goaltending, I mean, even Sergei Bobrovsky's doing a great job after these last couple of years. I mean, how do you like the way that that they've handled the rotation? It's usually been, 2 for Bob, 1 for Spencer.
Yeah, so coming into the year, a lot of people were asking me, do you think Spencer Knight's going to be the day 1 starter? I said no. Why is that? Bob didn't look too good last year. I'm like, I know, but watch this. Spencer Knight's 20 years old. Sergei Bobrovsky won 2 Vezinas. Bob's also been in Florida 2 years. he's kind of like, all right, he deletes the social media. He has a kid, and he's dad Bob now. I'm not gonna mush Bob. I will tell you this: I'm not gonna mush Bob. But
I might have just done it, by the way.
5 games, 1.79 goals against average, a .946 save percentage. He's undefeated. And a lot of these goals he's letting in are coming off of his own defenseman. So if you watch the last game, puck bounces in off of Owen Tippett in the net. If you watch the game against Pittsburgh, a couple pucks bouncing off of his own player into the net. Bob looks amazing. So I think the goaltending so far in the season has really helped the Panthers, because if you watched last year, there was a lot of games where they were having to come back in the third period. They were going to have to score 5-6 goals just to keep it a 1-goal game. Now you're winning by 3-4 plus goals every night, and your goaltender might only give up 1 to 2 goals a game.
Dude, I love it. You want to make sure you follow this man on Twitter. You see the handle there, A Baumgartner 91. Alex, let the people know what you have coming up, man. When's the next time we can see you or hear you on the 5 Reasons Sports Network?
Yeah, so normally every week we have our In the Box with Alex show right here on the 5 Reasons Sports YouTube channel. We did not do it yesterday because we were waiting for the press conference that didn't have the person we wanted to speak to. But usually every Wednesday around 9 p.m., Manny's the producer over there. So we do that show. You can also find me on Twitter at abaumgartner91, and I occasionally release some articles over at the 5 Reasons Sports Network.
Well, keep up the good work, man. I hope we could talk to you soon. And, once we get more clarity on Q, I'd love to have you back on next week.
For sure. Thank you.
Good stuff there by Alex Baumgartner. We're going to be joined in a couple minutes by the man, the myth, the legend, Barry Barger from BetUS.com. He's going to give us some winners for the weekend. I want to bring in the other man, myth, and legend, Sean Stanley. See how he's been doing. I missed you the other day. I went rogue yesterday, Sean. I didn't want you or Manny. I said, you know what? Screw it. I couldn't do my show at the normal time. I wanted to go on at 1 o'clock and talk some Deshaun Watson, because there's been shit's been hitting the fan for like the last week and a half here. So how are you, sir?
I'm doing good. I actually got logged in today, so it's a step forward for me.
Yeah, that's right. You tried to get in yesterday, and you couldn't.
No, the day before. Yesterday,
yeah, that's right.
Without me, but the day before, you and Manny, I don't know. I guess you're mad because of my picks. I beat you guys, so now finally I beat you guys, and I don't get on. Imagine that.
So let me ask you: when you've got a time like right now, and you know what sucks, honestly? Being a guy who loves the Florida Panthers, and I love the Miami Heat, and the Heat were what we opened up with today. Convincing win over Brooklyn, a very convincing win over Milwaukee already within your first 4 games. The Heat are flying, and they're beating the teams that are supposed to be beating them, which is fantastic. But on a night like last night, and it seems to happen every 2 days, the Heat and Panthers always play the same night. It drives me freaking insane, right? And listen, I
2 weeks though too. I think there's a game. Every week, there's at least one game where Panthers and Heat are on at the same time.
Like, I wish someone could intervene with the scheduling, because I'm sure that the NHL and the NBA don't consult one another when they're making their schedules. Like, they don't have meetings to, like, hey, local teams, from different sports. Like, they don't do that. I wish they could have like a consigliere to like intervene on their behalf and say, hey, we'd much prefer it if we didn't have 2 games in South Florida on the same night, so that people can watch both of their teams play. So on nights like last night, and every 2 nights basically, who do you prioritize, Sean? Do you prioritize the Heat or the Panthers? Because I will admit,
my answer, you're not gonna like it.
Well, I got to admit, I'm still prioritizing the Heat. But it's not to say I'm not paying attention to what the Panthers are doing. And sometimes the Panthers games usually start about a half hour earlier, so I'll start with that. But I usually prioritize the Heat. What about you?
Normally, the Heat would get priority, but last night, Inter Miami CF got priority.
Oh, well, they got their butts kicked anyway.
Yes. But I was watching it on the phone.
I got you. I hear you.
Because I did the South Florida parlay, and it came in last night.
Well, and explain that, because obviously Inter Miami didn't win, so you had them against the spread, I'm assuming?
+1.5. Yeah, I had them with the spread, +1.5. I took that. I took the Heat, and then I took the Panthers. They were +1.5 as well. But I thought they would do well, and they did, thank goodness.
By the way, do you agree with Gianmarco? And by the way, like when I was talking shit about Joe Paterno, Gianmarco said, "Don't bring up my grandfather." Like I'm assuming he was trolling, but I'm not 100% sure. he might actually be Joe Paterno's grandson. I mean, he's got the right last name. I don't know if I actually insulted his granddad or if he was joking.
Oh, look at this.
I mean, big time move.
Well, when you were asking about the hockey succeeding in South Florida, I think it will succeed if they're winning.
Exactly.
It did before in the 90s. A lot of people don't remember that, but when they had the rats and everything else going on, again, when they were winning, the place was packed. The problem is they haven't had a winning product. Now they have to win that trust, I think, from the fans. So I think the end of this year, as it's going into playoffs, I think you'll start seeing it fill up more. And then next season, I think you'll see it even filled more.
Now he did clarify he was totally trolling, and I'm glad. I'm glad to hear that he was. But his granddad back in the old country, Giuseppe Paterno. So it is kind of true because Joe is short for Giuseppe. Although actually I have a zio, an uncle named Giuseppe, and he goes by Beppe, Zio Beppe over in Milan. He's a great dude. So let's bring on
Donno.
Yeah, the right way to say it, it's Giuseppe Donno is how you say my name properly, Donno. Yeah, so I Americanize it the way that I say it. It is what it is, man. Because when people hear me like really emphasize those consonants and say Donno, it just a lot of people don't doesn't compute. It becomes Dono or Dono. So I just whatever, man. Gotcha. I'll go with whatever works for people. So. Yeah, if I am the mush, let's bring in the anti-mush. And I'll admit, I've not had a great couple of days. These last couple of days, I usually do pretty well with MMA bets. Barry, I was out at the PFL MMA championships down here yesterday, and I went 0 for 2 on my PFL bets. So I'm hurting a little bit, and it's because it's been about a week since we've gotten our Barry Barger fix here on Donno Daily. Barry Barger, of course, from BetUS.com. It is the official sports book of Donno Daily. Sign up with our code 5RSN125 for a sweet bonus. Barry, good afternoon, man. How are you?
I'm good, but I don't know how to say don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
And by the way, the thing with the hands, that is absolutely legit. Like if you go over, if you go over to the old country, it's like people do this just as much as they speak. It's sign language over there. It's universal.
Oh, good. I didn't want to get in trouble. You can get in trouble for anything these days. Oops. UFC. It's interesting you say that because we do a lot of promotions too. I bet US they do promotions where they'll have the whole card and like a $5 or $10, and it pays out percentages, and you just you pick each match, and it's really cool. So check out some of that stuff. That UFC is awesome, man. Undercards, all that stuff, and I'll next week. I'll sharpen up. I'll get you some picks on the next weekends, whatever's next weekend. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I find myself betting a lot of UFC fights because they only take like 2 weekends off a year. It's crazy. They take like Christmas week and 4th of July week and maybe Thanksgiving weekend. That's about it, man. They've got cards almost every single weekend.
They really capitalized in the whole COVID thing, and UFC just they kind of saved sports for a while, right? Yeah. For us, they were jamming, no audience, but there's no audience in anything. So, what do you care? But that's they've really had a rise as boxing kind of went, too many belts, don't want to fight each other, But I'm from Omaha, Terrence Crawford, Bud.
Nice.
Watch him be whooping up in next month.
So I didn't know you were from Omaha. I've never been there, but that's where my mother grew up. I guess I've never had a reason to go to Omaha. I don't know if you can verify that it's probably not the most exciting place. I've never been there, but that is where my mom grew up.
A great place to be brought up. Values more. I mean, seriously, but it's a little slow to live. It's freezing in the winters and snows, and in the summers, it's hot and humid.
Oh man!
And there's no slope for snow skiing, so it's not the ultimate. No, I went west, my friend.
Oh man! Now I want to get into it because I'm so happy. Like it's a Thursday, and you and we always break down the Thursday night football game, Usually the Thursday night game sucks, but we actually like the Thursday night game tonight might be the best game of the weekend, period. Like, this is a fan-freaking-tastic game. You've got the one-loss Green Bay Packers at the unbeaten Arizona Cardinals, and the Packers are getting 6.5 points here. It's Packers plus 6.5. Arizona favored minus 6.5 at home. Over-under is 50.5. I'm so glad that we finally get a Thursday night game that's not a complete turd. So I love your take on it, Barry. And it is like Arizona getting a lot of respect here, almost a touchdown favorite. What do you think here?
Yep. Number one on the power rankings, the Cardinals. I kept them off for a long time because I didn't want to be a homer because that's my team. So I just got anyway. So on this one, Cardinals are real. And here's the thing with this game that I think the best bet here is the under 50.5. And so now Devontae Adams, he's out for sure.
Yeah.
He's not playing. MVS, Marquez Valdez. I don't think he's playing either now. I mean, or it's still in the air. So what you can do on the Cardinals better is run on them. So I would expect Green Bay to try to control the game. A lot of Aaron Jones, a lot of quick passes out of the backfield. I think they're going to try to slow the game down because Kyler Murray and that offense, I don't know if they can. It could go to shootout status, which Aaron Rodgers will pick, and he'll find a way to get things done. But for me, I like the under on this game because I think that's how it's going to play out. 50.5. And as far as the side goes, 6.5 points, that's too many, man.
Yeah.
I'm a Cardinals guy. That's too damn many. 6.5 at BetUS, 50.5. Yeah, 6.5. And the thing is, with Aaron Rodgers, so he doesn't have his stud, but he's still got his skills, his views. As long as his guys are running the routes, that ball's going to be fired in there. And Aaron Jones, I think he's probably going to have a big game, or they're going to attempt to get him a big game. Maybe Robert Tonyan, the tight end, finally has a good game. He's been disappointing this year. And with Kyler Murray, you're not going to stop him.
No.
But I think that 6.5 points to Aaron Rodgers and our Cards on a short week. The Cards on a short week with. Well, they're both on a short week.
Yeah.
It's Thursday.
I was going to say, I'm like, wait a second. Unless the Packers were coming off the bye, but no, I don't think they are.
I don't know. I'm sorry, I wore that out already.
I didn't hear it all my life in school growing up or anything like that.
It's kind of cool. I like it. So what do you think on the total, man? Did you think that this is going to be a fire away game, or?
I think like you said, if Devontae was in there, I think it'd be more likely. I think what you said about slowing it down makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I'm gonna lean as well with you on the under. And I was one of the reasons why I'm so curious to hear your take on this game was, like you, 6.5 seems like a lot. I mean, I guess if I had to lean one way. Like, if you put a gun to my head, I'd probably go Cardinals minus 6.5, but it's not something like I would consider a sure play.
I would. If you put a gun to my head, and I'm going the other way. Wait, does that mean one of us gets shot? If a loser? Wait a minute. No,
hopefully neither of us, or maybe both of us. I don't know.
Maybe that'd be good for society, actually. If both of us probably. So
my wife, I'm sure, would agree with you on that.
Yeah. So the defenses here, they're a little underrated. We talk about the offenses all the time, and the Cardinals are fourth in total defense this year so far, and the Packers are seventh. And so that also comes into play with why I think they're going to, I just don't see how it's going to be a shootout unless Kyler Murray, unless those guys – they do a couple things, get ahead 14, and then Rodgers has to pull out his Aaron,
right?
And he can do that. But personally, that's my play. That's what I'm thinking here, just because of the circumstances. Thursday night game. Also, in primetime underdogs, 13-7, 65%.
That's good info.
So that's another. That's another Green Bay 6.5 is a lot to give to Aaron Rodgers.
It is.
Okay, I mean, and I know the Cardinals are undefeated, and they're the only team I bet to win the Super Bowl, and so I'm not betting the side. I'm just going to bet.
I probably won't either. Yeah, I'm probably not going to either. I just it's one of those things where you're leaning not to, but I need to get a second opinion. It's like, oh, my leg hurts. I think it's something I better go see another doctor. You were my second opinion on that.
And another thing though, too. I mean, at BetUS, you've got all the props. We've got like who's going to score the first touchdown.
Yeah.
A lot of times the quarterback's like 15-20 to 1. So like I like to bet. Game tied at half and then pick the winner. And you can usually get like 10 to 1, 15 to 1, something crazy like that. It's kind of cool. I've hit it, but not a lot. But there's a lot of stuff to play there.
Well, and let me tell you and our viewers like a prop that you can absolutely play at BetUS. This was partners of ours who do statistical models. Okay, they told me that a prop that they like tonight is Aaron Jones, anytime touchdown scorer at plus 120. That seems like an opportunity to me.
Whew. I better tell him to adjust that. That's a bad line. That should be that's easy money, isn't it?
It seems like it, right?
I think tonight, yeah. Oh, get on that. I'm definitely betting that. I haven't looked at all the props yet, but I'm on that for sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're awesome. Hey, tell whoever started calling you that M word that it's magic, not the other word.
Well, the thing is that I didn't come up with that myself. It's my buddies Nick and Dylan at the Daily Stakes. These guys are pretty awesome, Barry. They're former finance guys, right? So they used to work in the financial sector. They would run these financial models. They decided to take their algorithm. Well, I don't even know if algorithm is the right word for it, but they took their financial model and adjusted it to sports betting, and it's pretty awesome the stuff that these guys do. So
that's great.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
We should be. What do they have? We should be just following them, probably. Right?
Oh man! Now I wanted to. You talk about a big number, -6.5. How about a gigantic number here with the Buffalo Bills, 14-point favorites at home against the Miami Dolphins? I'm not arguing. I'm a Dolphin fan. I'm certainly not arguing it. The last time we faced Buffalo, 35-0 ass whooping that came Miami's way. And this time they're in Buffalo. So again, it's probably too big of a number for me to bet aside on that one. Maybe you disagree. The over-under for that game is 49. Do you like anything there between the Dolphins and Bills?
So in this game, Buffalo, they're coming off a bye after they got beat by Tennessee. So they're going to be really tough. And Tua has been playing good.
Yeah, it's been.
So you can't discount Tua. Problem is, Will Fuller, still have Devontae Parker. Miami, even last week when they had Xavier Howard and what's their other
Byron Jones.
Yeah. So, and Matt Ryan still lit him up.
Yeah.
And so this just looks like a Josh Allen explosion game to me. But that's a lot of points, especially when Miami already kind of got spanked by him. I expect him to show up. So I think this is going to be a lot of points too here, because I think Josh Allen and those guys are going to just fire away. The 14 Dolphins are demoralized, too much distraction.
Well, I wanted to ask you, the reason why I put this comment up, Barry, is as someone who, as a prognosticator, how much do you take off the field stuff into the equation? Because everybody approaches things different. Like I know some guys who go just straight by stats. I know people who like to incorporate things like this. But yeah, listen, all of the reports about Deshaun Watson, I'm sure, have been a distraction, whether Tua Tagovailoa admits it or not. But he has played well the last couple weeks despite the distraction. But there's a lot going on. So do you take this stuff into consideration, when you consider betting aside?
That's actually a great point. Tua's a young cat, and so this is trade deadline's Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
So this is kind of like pressure, like he's really getting it now.
Yeah.
And so as cool as he played it, and what did he say? He didn't say like that they supported him, but they didn't.
He said they asked him if he feels wanted, and he says, I don't feel wanted.
Yeah, that's what it was. So it's like, I don't know. So that could play into it a little bit. That's a good point. But Tua's a pro, and he's been playing well, and they were just beat up. But that stuff's it just depends on the person, right? I mean,
because it might also motivate. Like it might make some guys play even harder. Like I don't know how it's going to affect somebody.
Right, exactly. So what's that going to do with Tua, they think? I mean, I don't know him personally. Like I'll text him. No, I don't know. But with Buffalo, gosh, Buffalo's just a steam engine coming in, man. It's just, that's what's so tough. I just can't bet Miami on this one. I bet the total, and I might bet Buffalo just because I think they're gonna stop putting up points after that loss to Tennessee, and Miami doesn't deserve it because they already took it to them. I mean, but maybe it's real tough on the side. The side is the toughest one I have with because
I don't think I'm going to play either side. I really don't. I'm going to let it be.
I'm playing the over in this game, but
good call.
On the side, if I play the side, I would go Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
I would go Buffalo just because there's too many things that point that way. Too many.
Last game I wanted to get your take on. This is another good one. Dallas Cowboys -2 at the Minnesota Vikings, 2-point underdogs, and the over-under is 55. It could be a high-scoring game, that one. So what are you thinking there?
That one's way over.
Yeah.
The total's 55 at BetUS? 55.
Yeah, as of about 3 hours ago.
All right, okay. So even if it's 58, this is a 65. I mean, this is a big game, and it's going to be a close game too because Minnesota's got a great offense. And I think Dalvin Cook, they're going to be able to run on Dallas. And so they're going to be able to put up a lot of offense on both sides. The thing is Dak, is he 100%? They still kind of leaving that out there. Dallas did get Michael Gallup back, and they got, Collins, offensive lineman. I think Dallas got. Dallas is solid on the line.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're pretty good on that bench. As far as gosh dang, man, Peterson's out for Minnesota.
Yeah.
Patrick Peterson. So the total. This is another one.
I like the over. And by the way, I double checked it. It's still 55 at BetUS, so I'm smashing the over.
This is the biggest overplay of the week for me. And this is one just a smash on the over. This is going to be great. Just chow down Sunday night, sit around with friends, and just keep watching those torpedoes go flying through the air, and then you wake up in the fourth quarter. But at 2 points, God, they nailed it. If it was 3, I'd go Minnesota, and if it was 1, I'd go Dallas, as I think they win. But I think I'd have to go Dallas on the side at 2.
I agree. Yeah.
I just can't. Man, Zeke, Elliott's running well. Their offensive line, they're getting Gallup back, so that puts CeeDee Lamb in the slot a little more, which is good. Which is good for Dallas. He should have a really big night.
Yeah, I need that for my fantasy team as well. So I hope he goes off. I can't tell you. Yeah. Well, no. Actually, I don't have Zeke. I have, so I need Zeke to go off.
I got Zeke too in one of mine.
Yeah.
Come on, Zeke.
I need him to go off. I always appreciate your time, man, and the great insight and just the laughs. Barry Barger. Make sure you check out his work. What can people look forward to this week at BetUS.com?
Oh, you know what? So I just want to make sure, like, people, and I think I mentioned this for the Twitters, because there's Twitters for everything.
Yeah.
We've got BetUS at BetUS Pro FB, for NFL. I want to use NFL, I guess. At BetUS TV. We've got like I don't know, 30 shows a week now. We're doing hockey, basketball, football, college and pro. So it's a great source of information, along with the locker room with all the articles and everything.
Oh, I love it.
And BetUS_NBA. And BetUS_official is the all-around one, which, I mean, there's so much information that they've separated it. But the videos are awesome. I mean, because these are all experts, and there's so much there. So check at BetUS TV. It's really exploding. Really exploding.
And one of the things, like Barry, one of the things I always tell people, and I'm so glad whenever I see our viewers have signed up at BetUS, and not only are they reading the articles at the locker room, but they're using the service to actually make their picks and win money. Like sometimes people, if they've never done online betting before, and obviously I recommend everybody BetUS, but like if you've never used BetUS before, like I explain to people, like literally if you've ever been to Vegas and gone into the sports book, it's that, but it's on your smartphone or it's on your computer and it's on your tablet. I mean, dude, it's so freaking easy. Yeah.
Oh, our mobile stuff is so simple. It's state of the art. Casinos, we get like 50 new games all the time. So people that like to do online stuff, I play that sometimes.
Same
it's
here.
It's fun, but I really like the sports, man. Horse racing. I like horse racing too. I mean, I'd rather be there, but I still play it online.
Dude, I got to tell you, man, like I know so little about horse racing, but if I get recommendations on like Triple Crown races, I'll lock them in. So when that time comes around, I will be asking you a lot of questions about that because I do not follow horse racing whatsoever, but then I'm that guy who wants to bet the Kentucky Derby. So I need
Breeders' Cup. Breeders' Cup next week.
Yeah, that's right.
That's huge. These are huge. Oh, we'll talk about that next week.
I love it.
Oh,
fantastic. Yeah. Fantastic. Barry, thank you so much, my friend. Barry Barger from BetUS.com. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend coming up.
Thanks. You do too. Come on, overs.
Yes, overs. I love it.
I don't know.
What a good dude. Oh, man. Fantastic. Well, let's go out and bring in our next guest of the day. And, man, this might be the longest I've gone in any episode of this show, 53 minutes without talking any Miami Dolphins. And I haven't even put on the tinfoil hat in 53 minutes. We bring on Husaam Patel from 5 Reasons Sports and Fin Maniacs. Husaam, how's your afternoon going, sir? How are you?
You always forget about Dolphins ATB, Alex. I'm pissed. Man.
I'm sorry, Dolphins ATB. And like the last time I had you on, I had to have you explain to me what Dolphins ATB was. Make sure you check that out as well. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, Alex. I'm doing well, Alex. How are you?
Oh man, I'm doing really, really well. Now, before we get into and thank you so much. How do I say that? Bullshot Lexus J.
So it's mumbo jumbo.
Mumbo, yeah, whatever it is. Like, there's not enough vowels in there. Before we get into, I'd love your take on what happens between now, if anything, between now and the trade deadline. But before we get into that, there's been some talk about the Dolphins potentially shopping wide receivers in trades before the deadline. You hearing anything about that? And if the Dolphins were to send a receiver away, who would be the most likely candidate?
Well, along with everyone else there at Fin Maniacs, and since I run the Fin Maniacs account, I tweeted out today that per source that the Miami Dolphins are actively looking to see if anybody would be interested in any of the receivers on the Dolphins' current roster. Now, what I've been told that it's been mainly veteran wide receivers, so you can rule out a couple people and you can speculate on who they might be. Alex, if you think about what's been going on, who's been on the field, who's not been on the field, you could primarily take a guess.
Albert Wilson. Are you pleading the fifth on me? Now
I'm pleading the fifth on you.
Now I didn't say Will Fuller, because first of all he's only on a 1-year deal, and I'm still thinking that could be the Deshaun Watson bait, because I'm sure he would like to play with Mr. Fuller again.
And
so
he's still on IR too. So
yeah, that's a good point. He's still on IR. Yeah. So yeah, I saw that. I'm thinking Albert Wilson. Now, okay, and if the Dolphins were to trade a wide receiver, any talk on what they're looking to get in return? Are we talking late round draft pick? Are they going to try to get some kind of a player in return? What do you think the compensation could be?
So I haven't been really told on what the compensation would be because, again, it's just starting to drum up. So there hasn't been any reporting on that. But if I'm going based on my assumption, I would say, if Chris Greer is still the GM, it's going to be some sort of draft pick, either low fifth, sixth, seventh rounder within 2022 or 2023. We saw the Dolphins ship off Jakeem Grant for a 2023 sixth-round pick who was an all-pro for a sixth-round pick. And then you have Stephon Gilmore, who was later traded on for a sixth-round pick. So I'm guessing if the Dolphins do decide to get some type of all-pro offensive lineman or defensive back or some other skill position, it might be for a sixth-round pick. So who knows what the compensation is exactly going to be. I would like the Dolphins to trade for an offensive lineman, primarily a tackle. I know everybody has been saying Taylor Decker, but Taylor Decker is going to cost a heavy package, either a first round or second round pick plus a player. And with this current team and it's all its holds, I would want to keep that first round or second round pick and develop those young guys. But I do have an article on the way here at 5 Reasons Sports, 3 trade ideas that the Dolphins could potentially pull off.
Now, speaking
and
of,
it doesn't include Deshaun Watson. It does not include Deshaun Watson.
Oh, we'll get to him in a second. How dare you exclude him from that piece? But before we get to that,
it's another the globalist, Alex. The globalist.
Listen, Antifa, they're circling my house right now. That's why they can't read my thoughts when I got this tinfoil hat on. But, one name that's been mentioned, and to everything I've read, I don't think I've actually seen any real reporting on this one. I've only seen him show up in like opinion pieces, like hypotheticals. Xavier Howard. Do you think there's any chance he could get traded? Because I don't. And he was asked about it either today or yesterday in a media session. I watched the video clip and he just said he's only thinking about the Dolphins, and he had a big smile on his face. So is there anything to that? Could he be moved?
I don't think there's any potential of him possibly being moved. The Dolphins have expressed in the offseason that they would like to get a deal done next offseason and have him paid with another contract and become the highest paid cornerback with the Miami Dolphins. I mean, last week he had quarterbacks had a 2.0 rating against Xavier Howard last week. Matt Ryan had a 2.0 rating when throwing near Xavier Howard's way. He had a pick. Wide receiver only had 1 catch for, I think it was for like 11 to 12 yards, something like that. And yeah, he's focused on the Miami Dolphins. I'm sure the Miami Dolphins are focused on giving him a second contract this offseason.
Wow. Now, we did an entire, so if people think, oh, you're not talking enough Deshaun Watson today, we did 42 minutes on Watson yesterday. So I would encourage you to supplement today's viewing experience by also going back and watching the episode that I did yesterday, which primarily broke down the reporting of John McClain and then some of the rebuttals and addendums that were added by some of the local guys who do an awesome job, like Barry Jackson. All the respect to Barry, and Alan Poupar, massive respect to him as well, about this issue that reportedly now Josina Anderson from CBS HQ has a report that contradicts this one. But according to McClain, the Dolphins and Texans have already agreed to terms, compensation being, what draft picks the Dolphins would trade for Watson, but that the Dolphins will have a condition. They will not make this move. They will not finalize this move until Watson gets his legal issue settled. And we are 5 days away from the trade deadline. So it's not completely looking remotely likely that could happen. Now, let me give a quote. Let me throw this to Husaam and to our audience. My phone was blowing up this morning, and I didn't exactly know why until I realized what Mike Florio said today. So Mike Florio, I'm going to read you a couple quotes here. Quote, a lot of work was being done at those league meetings to get the word out to reporters there that the Panthers, quote, oh, we don't want Watson. That's the Carolina Panthers. We weren't involved. They were involved, he says. End of Sunday, it was Dolphins, then Panthers, Florio said on NBC Sports. Quote, the Panthers must be getting very strong vibes, he said, that the Dolphins are going to get this deal done, that Deshaun Watson is going to choose Miami over Carolina. And so now Carolina is backing off because they have to love the one they're with. They can't afford to face their fans, their players, by saying, we went and tried to get Deshaun Watson and it just didn't work out. Florio continued, I still don't completely rule out the Panthers, but they must have caught wind of something yesterday or today, today being Wednesday, that leads them to believe this is happening with the Miami Dolphins and not the Carolina Panthers, or they wouldn't be working so hard to spread the word to reporters who will willingly pass it along without scrutiny, without doubt, without context, that they were never in it when the truth is they were. As of Sunday, it was, in my estimation, Florio says, 75% Miami, 25% Carolina. Now it looks like Miami or no one. And this last sentence is definitely the most compelling thing that Florio said. Now, this is his opinion, okay? So whether you think Florio is really good at his job or you think he's a shithead, this is just his opinion. He said, quote, I'll still be stunned if it's no one. So Florio thinks a deal will be done by November 2nd. So what are we missing here, Husaam? And Florio, by the way, I'll add, he's an attorney, right? So I would think he's considering the idea that it's very difficult to get all these cases settled by November 2nd. I know that part of the McLean report was that Watson doesn't want to settle because that would look like an admission of guilt. I think that might be a little bit of like moral posturing from his side to make him look a little bit better. I just noticed, Husaam, and this is not me saying the trade is definitely going to happen. I just noticed how quiet those lawyers have been for several weeks now when they were arguing very publicly. Then all of a sudden they got very quiet. I feel like they're working on something. Whether or not they've made enough progress on 22 cases that they can get settled in the next 5 days, I have no idea. I have no idea how much progress they've made, but I do think they're doing something. Otherwise, they'd probably still be bickering in public. So what say you about all this?
So you want my reporting on the Barry Jackson, Alan Pope part type of scale?
Yeah.
Well, put the tinfoil hat on, Alex. Right
okay,
now.
well, hold on. Give me a second.
Put the tinfoil hat on.
Make
Oh,
sure
look at
enough.
that beautiful
I recently,
head.
I got bad like hat mark on my head. Oof, that is bad.
So
Let me get some,
put it on.
I can heal this with a little tinfoil.
And
Hold on,
I'll go with
headphones
Josina
back on. All right, give it to
I'll
me
go
straight.
I'll go with Josina Anderson on this report that contradicts everybody else, and which fully contradicts John McClain's reporting and Mike Florio's reporting as well. Now, let's go ahead and dissect this into piece by piece. John McClain, esteemed, reporter for the Houston Chronicle. He has his guys in the Houston media and especially within the Texans organization. Every week it's been put out, Watson's going to be traded this week. Watson's going to be traded this week. Watson's going to be traded this week. Hasn't happened. And it's all come from Houston's end of thing. So again, this is all coming from Houston's ends of thing. Miami's reporters such as Barry Jackson, Alan Popard, everybody else at the Herald, the Sentinel as well, and Jeff Darlington too. Quiet. Ian Rappaport, Adam Schefter, quiet up until they were forced to speak about this issue, saying that it's very unlikely something gets done. And I'm of the opinion it's very unlikely something gets done. And let's go ahead and talk about the legal cases which has been going on. Obviously, this is a very, very big risk for any team to take up on. We saw the Panthers, they folded. The Eagles, they also folded. Maybe the Dolphins also privately folded as well, and they don't want to tell anybody because they don't.
But the thing is, like, why wouldn't they though? Because that was one of the things. Because there's a giant distraction then if they don't address it. Like when Stephen Ross was going into the owners' meetings, and he said, like, I know what you guys want to talk about, and I'm paraphrasing here. Like I'm not dealing with it.
Yeah, he doesn't want to talk about it, basically.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, if there's nothing going on, the best thing you can do is strong denial. So to me, like the avoidance of a strong denial tells me there's something going on.
And there could be something going on behind the scenes. They could always be talking about those terms you spoke about. Now, Miami could have settled on these terms a long, long time ago. It could have been done a long, long time ago. Oh, we'll give you these draft picks pending these conditions, okay? Those are the terms. And the terms, they could be changed at any time. It hasn't been done in writing. It's all verbal. It's all verbal. So at any time, those terms can change. At any time, those terms for the trade can change. It could be
True.
less. It could be more. And again, it's dependent on the conditions the Dolphins have set. Now, Caserio and the Texans, they don't want to meet those conditions. They want to get rid of Watson as soon as possible. And they can do that doing anything, leaking to the media that, hey, this team is interested. Let's use the Dolphins as bait, because the Dolphins are the team that haven't really said anything to the media, haven't shut anything down, because so far the last year or so, they've been secretive, and nobody in the media has been able to decipher what the Dolphins have been trying to do since 2019. All the trade rumors, the speculation, the draft picks, up until the very, very last second, the final 11th hour, only then were people able to decipher. But other than that, they haven't gotten anything wrong.
Yeah.
They haven't gotten anything right. I mean, it's been wrong across the board.
Husaam Patel joins us here on Donno Daily. On the way out, got to ask you, what the hell happens this Sunday? Dolphins they're 14-point underdogs, my dude. And I'm not going to argue with it. Like, I was just talking with Barry Barger about it. Yeah, that dump kind of it's a good illustration of what's been going on. It's a big number, so I'm probably not going to bet on it in either direction. If I had to bet on it, I'd probably lean to the Bills. Please, I hope I don't have to do the show with the paper bag. That's the rule here. If the Dolphins and the Hurricanes both lose the same weekend, I start Monday with a paper bag on my head. Miami Hurricanes, they're 9.5-point underdogs in Pittsburgh.
Don't touch any Miami team. Don't touch any Miami team.
Yeah, except the Heat and Panthers, but they don't count for my they don't count for my paper bag thing. So what do you think happens now? In the last time the Dolphins faced the Bills, Tua got injured very early in that game. He would not have been the difference in that game, though. What do you think happens this time around?
Oh, what do I think this happened? I think this game, the Dolphins actually score some points. I'm hoping that it gets close. Now, it'll be a shocker if the Miami Dolphins and Tua Tagovailoa are able to pull out a win. I think Tua, he's going to have a close stat line around 200 to 250 yards, 2 to 3 touchdowns, and maybe possibly a pick. That's what the average has been the last few games for every other quarterback, including Patrick Mahomes. The Bills' defense is legit, and they're for real, and they're playing in Buffalo on Halloween. And that's a very, very scary setup. But yeah, I have been told that, and I've done a little bit of research on the Bills' defense. Matt Milano, he's not the best cover guy. He can, rush the passer and he can stop the run, but he can't attack the middle of the field. I forgot their cornerback number 2 name, but Levi Wallace. There it is.
Yes.
Levi Wallace is a bit of a liability in the deep game. Now, that bodes well for 2 things. Mike Gesicki and Jalen Waddle, who are the Dolphins' 2 biggest strengths and 2 biggest playmakers this upcoming Sunday. Mike Gesicki roams around the middle of the field a lot, and Matt Milano is going to have a hard time covering him. Now, maybe Tremaine Edmonds covers him along with, a Jordan Poyer, Mike Hyde, but then who's going to cover Jalen Waddle when he goes deep? And then you have Savon Ahmed, who can go deep as well, and linebackers can't cover Savon Ahmed when he's going deep or he's attacking the flats.
Yeah.
I think Miami's going to have a good offensive showing, but it's really going to be up to the defense to stop Josh Allen. And, well, Josh Allen has been 6-1 against the Miami Dolphins, and they've had no answers for him.
Nope, they have not. He has his best games typically against the Miami Dolphins. I always appreciate your contributions, and I am forever indebted to Husaam, because if people don't know or they don't remember, the whole tinfoil hat bit, it came from Husaam. The story was, and correct me if I'm butchering this, a couple months ago, your little brother was watching one of my videos and he thought I resemble Alex Jones.
Yep.
And so then I took it and I ran with it. We were a lot of conspiracy. Here's the deal. Globalists, Hillary Clinton, George Soros, Roger Goodell, John Travolta, the globalists. So we took it and ran with it. So we would not have the whole tinfoil hat bit, which maybe that's a good thing or it could be a terrible thing that we have that bit, but it's all because of Husaam.
Only good things, Alex. Only good things. That's it.
Oh man. So you want to follow him on Twitter at Husaam Patel. Anything you want to promote? Any stories you have coming up on the whatever the Dolphins ABC or whatever it is you got going on, and the 5 Reasons Sports and Fin Maniacs? What are you ABD? Is that it? ABD?
ATB Alpha
ATB.
Tim Hortons Bravo.
Okay.
Dolphins ATB. Yeah, I'm the head contributor there. We're gonna have a Dolphins versus Bills preview there. Hopefully Saturday is going to be a live show. Again, I have 2 Saturday live shows. One with Fin Maniacs. We talk about college football, the Scout and Combine with Brandon Ligori and I. We're going to be talking about the Week 9 college football preview. We're going to have prop bets, predictions, along with I coined the term hashtag Husaam's Hot Shots, the players you should be looking for the upcoming 2022 NFL Draft. Then again, my preview with Dolphins ATB. And then, well, with 5 Reasons Sports, I have an article coming out soon with the trade deadline, and I'll be on the final yard once the Dolphins and Bills game concludes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, man. Enjoy your weekend coming up. We'll talk again next week.
Of course. Thanks for having me on, Alex. Appreciate it.
That's my guy, Husaam Patel. Now he had he had mentioned to me that he's going to be at Universal tomorrow, and I think Manny Chang is also in Orlando. Manny, are you going to meet up with Husaam at Universal tomorrow? Is that going to go down, bro?
I'm not going to Universal, but he wants to meet at Magic Kingdom.
Oh, you're going to Disney? Okay.
I'm going to Disney. I mean, I don't have any passes. By the way, weather today in Orlando, as our friend David and Rob say, mush, complete mush.
Oh, the weather, yeah.
Tornado warnings, winds over 40 miles an hour. What the hell's going on out here?
God. Wow. Yeah, the weather there usually sucks. I mean, if you go there, like sometimes you go there maybe like around like between now and like, you know, January, sometimes you get lucky and it's like really cool and brisk there. Like it gets a little colder there than it gets here, and you get like nice crisp air. But for the most part, and Sean Stanley, like you got kids, you go to Disney a lot, you can probably concur with me on this, that like even though Orlando is like a couple hundred miles north of here, when it's hot, it's usually hotter there. I think it's because they don't get the ocean breezes that we get over here because they're inland. So it gets hotter here than it is there. And like Orlando, Tampa, which are not far away from each other, are the thunderstorm capital of the world. So you get those crazy ass storms up there. The humidity somehow even worse than it is down here. Like, you know, when I was there, like a month, I've actually been there a couple times since September, but when I was there like a month ago, it was like a furnace. It was like 100 degrees outside. It was miserable. And it was so humid.
Yeah, and then also Manny shouldn't have to worry about lightning with them ugly ass shoes he has. He shouldn't get struck by lightning.
By the way, I am hoping to get to a park tonight, and I'm actually gonna go see, you know, whatever Disney character there is somewhere, and I'm gonna go and take a picture right in front of it that's smiling. Now I'm gonna caption the photo as he approves Manny's shoes, because I got them shoes on right now.
Oh man,
ain't nobody approving that.
Oh yeah, they're proving that. By the way, Sean is an a-hole, because I sent him the screenshot of the weather, and he goes ahead. Oh, it's sunny over here. 90
What do you want me to do? Want me to feel bad for you? It rains every day.
Don't go weather is bad. Husaam, but according to Apple Weather, saying that at 7 o'clock it's going to be cloudy.
They don't know anything, bro.
Who knows?
Really?
They don't know shit. Apple Weather is they don't know, bro.
Well, you're talking to a guy that buys the shoes, you know what I mean? So take it for what it is.
By the way, I have actually convinced my girlfriend for her to actually want a pair, so that's coming soon. So that should be interesting.
What?
Wow.
Yep.
You're getting 2 pairs of those?
Wow.
Well, I actually got 3.
It's like I'm only a few years older than Manny, but I feel like our maturity levels are in different stratospheres, because you know what I was telling my wife we needed? I want to get one of those rice steamers. Like, and I was like, you know what I could really use for Christmas? Like, instead of having to like boil the rice like in the same pot you use for pasta, get me one of those rice steamers, right? And so I'm talking about getting a rice steamer. Manny's talking about getting more of these like $300 ugly ass shoes. It's crazy.
Well, it's actually $80 retail. So
that's not
tomorrow,
so bad.
fingers crossed, I'm in about 5-6 raffles on Adidas. hopefully the sneaker guys go. They come through for me.
And with most of Manny's shoes, you just throw them in the recycling bin, right? I mean, that's what happens with them.
No, that's actually all your hurricane memorabilia stuff for the last 10, 20 years. So.
Oh my God, he's a turncoat. He turned his back on the Canes. By the way, huge shout out to Big John
Thank
Stud
you, Big John.
for the what a guy. And by the way, let me let people know. I wanna push the super chat because like we get donations from some people like Big John Stud. Andrew Green has thrown us some stuff. I think Devin Jordan as well, and we really appreciate it. And by the way, the tip jar, I'll make sure we funnel all the donations to Sean and Manny. I don't want to take any money on the tip jar. So if you want to contribute to Sean Stanley feeding his children, or to Manny Chang, who also does have a child to feed, but most of his money gets funneled into his ugly sneaker account. So whether you want to fund Manny Chang's ugly shoe addiction, or you want to fund Sean Stanley being able to feed his children, if you guys use the super chat and make some donations, I'm not going to be pocketing that money. I'm going to filter it over to our guys. And there you go. So make sure you hit up that super chat if you are so kind to do so.
By the way, real quick, anybody that watches and hears us every single day, we appreciate you. If you are at next week's watch party, let me know. I will be there. I will make sure to get you some type of prize from 5 Reasons. Whatever Ethan brings, could be hats, could be stickers, could be towels. I have no idea what it is, but knowing Ethan, there's only probably about 5-6 hats that he'll bring. But let me know. That way I can make sure that I put something on the side for you.
Wait, am I finally be able to get a hat? Will everybody get to try on your shoes? Will there be a little area where you can try on Manny's shoes?
Manny, do you have any of the shoes with like the lights? Do you remember the LA Gears back in the day? Have those ever made a comeback? Do you have any of those that light up?
They would light up.
Yeah.
Not mine, no. I don't.
Those would be badass shoes if you brought those back.
Those are classics actually. LA Gears. Yeah, you're right.
I would buy, like, if I knew that they brought those back and they were in adult sizes, I would buy LA Gears today. I would.
No.
Would bring me back to my
That's
childhood.
for your son Luca. That's for Luca, not for you.
He would love those. Oh my God.
Did you get the shoes with wheels?
Oh, the Heelys? Hell no. Man, listen, I used to work. Hear me out. I used to work at a shoe store. Sean, I used to work at a shoe store, and these kids and these parents with their kids under 4, they'd be like, "Oh, can I get my kids some Heelys?" I'm like, "Yeah, like just use the slogan, learn how to skate before you learn how to walk, because all you people are just dumb wanting these shits." Like, what the hell are you doing?
Dude, if I got my kid a pair of those, like the Heelys, those are the ones with the little wheels that come out. Is that the skate ones? Yes. Dude, I mean, maybe when he's like 10, but my kid is so uncoordinated. If I were to get my kid a pair of Heelys, he would fall down a staircase somewhere. It would be bad. Like, and my kid, he's really tall for his age. Like, I think he's growing like too quickly, but vertically,
Alex,
like he's a string bean.
What size is Luca?
The kid sizes are different. I think he's like a kid's 12C or something. Wow. Like those are like, it's completely different than the adult shoe size. I don't know what they go by, but it's
five more sizes up. He'll be available to get one of these beautiful Yeezy foam runners, man. I think if I'm able to hit on retail, I think I might get your son a pair, man, and it might change your thoughts just a little bit.
I'm going to tell him Uncle Manny has a shoe recommendation for you. Wow. Head for the hills. Get out of here.
All right, boys. I'm out of here. It looks like a tornado's coming. Peace out.
Oh, my God. Well, enjoy your day up there in Orlando. Yeah, I want to say huge thanks to everybody who's joining us in the chat. Let me do shout-outs in a second, but I want to remind you guys of a couple things. First of all, I'm not done today. I'm going to be back in about an hour and 40 minutes. We've got our 5 rounds MMA show. Me, Frank Zaffrey, James Walker, couple of good guests tonight. Ooh, I'm waiting to hear back from from an awesome guest. I don't know if he's if he's gotten into us yet, but we're going to bring on some good people here this evening on 5 rounds. We're going to preview UFC 267 this Saturday from Abu Dhabi. It's a pay-per-view caliber card with 2 title fights, and it's on for free because the Abu Dhabi time zone is so whack over there that they're actually going to have it on for free. So you're not going to have to pay for the UFC quote unquote pay-per-view this weekend. That's going to be really cool. So we're going to be talking about it from 6 to 7:30 p.m. tonight on 5 rounds. So you're going to have a chance. If you watch us live in a little over an hour and a half from now, you're going to have an opportunity to win this $20 gift card at the Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill. we're going to be having a 5 Reasons watch party at the Quarterdeck on November 8th. That's a Monday night. We'll watch Monday Night Football out there. We'll watch the Heat at the Denver Nuggets at the Quarterdeck Sawgrass, the Plantation location on November 8th, Monday night. I will definitely be out there. All the 5 Reasons personalities will be out there. We're going to have a fantastic time mingling with the viewers and the fans out there. So not only do you guys need to make sure you're supporting the Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill, why wouldn't you? 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. Delicious freaking food, man. I mean, I love the jerk chicken sandwich, the French dip sandwich, the all-American burger, the buffalo shrimp. I love to build my own poke bowl. There's something for everybody at the Quarterdeck. The beer is always cold. The 2-for-1 happy hour is great. Big screen, flat screens, high def TVs covering every wall to watch the game. The game is always on. The UFC pay-per-views are always on out there. The Quarterdeck is the place to be. And also make sure you support the official sports book of Donno Daily. It's like having Las Vegas in your pocket, right? I mean, you get the full service sports book you can access and make bets on your smartphone, on your computer, on your tablet. They've got odds on everything. They are America's favorite sports book because their customer service is incredible, my friends. And you could use our code at betus.com, 5RSN125. Sign up with our code 5RSN125. Not only does that give us credit for the sign up, but if you use our code, they're going to give you a 125% sign up bonus, free play money. If you deposit $100, they'll give you $125 on top of your $100 deposit of free play money. And if you guys are so kind, when you sign up at BetUS with our code, send me a screenshot. Alex Donno on Twitter, Donno, at Alex Donno on Twitter. I mean, you can just tweet it to me if you want, or send me a DM. Like, send me a screenshot that you set up your account with our code, and you're going to be entered to win one of 2 Quarterdeck $20 gift cards. We're going to be announcing that. Why don't we do it next Friday, maybe? Why don't we give people 8 days to enter, do your signups with our code 5RSN125. And if you've already signed up with our code, if you make a new deposit with our code, we'll count that as well. So either sign up with our code or make a new deposit with our code, where you can still get a bonus even on your second deposit, by the way. So send us a screenshot of that. Send it to me. Slide into my DMs at Alex Donno on Twitter. Send me the screenshot, and you will be entered to win one of 2 Quarterdeck gift cards. And hey, if only 2 people enter, you're both winners. If 100 people enter, we'll still let 2 of you win. So it's a great opportunity to not only get free play money at betus.com, but also a Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill gift card. Huge shout out to Husaam Patel, who joined us, Barry Barger, who joined us, and Alex Baumgartner. We had a long discussion about what might happen with Coach Q, who has been implicated in the Chicago Blackhawks sexual assault scandal. I read a ton of excerpts from the full report. I haven't read the full 107-pager yet. I'll try to read it tonight, maybe after 5 rounds. But it's disgusting, man. It is disgusting, and it is horrific. And it really brings up Penn State vibes, like a sports organization allegedly putting winning over everything, because this came out during their Stanley Cup run. And it's like, oh, we don't care that sexual assault was taking place. We don't want any distractions for our playoff. It's fucking disgusting. You got something for me, Sean?
No, just letting you know the meeting has ended. But
Okay.
There's no word yet on any resolution. So I've been checking it the whole hour, and that's the first one that's come across that said the meeting did end now. So now I'm just trying to keep refreshing, see hopefully what's going on.
Well, if you have anything, tweet it to me or tweet it out, and I'll make sure to retweet it. Hopefully everybody's following Sean Stanley at Sean_Stanley11. If you're already following me at Alex Donno, you'll see it. And anything that comes out, if Sean sees it before I do, he'll tweet it out. So huge shout out to everybody who joined us. Big shout out to our folks in the chat. Big John Stud, the man himself. Big Dan 305, you were awesome. Chris Adams, David, it's nice seeing you in here. Some of our staples. Bullshot Lexus J, thank you so much for getting in. Welch, Brooklyn Rob, the guy who coined me as the mush, I appreciate you getting in. Benjamin Horsley, thank you so much. Adam Foles, Gianmarco Paterno, no relation to Joe Paterno, thank you so much for getting in, my friend. Ryan Sproviero, actually, if I'm going to say that correctly. Noel 1241 or Noel, either way. Thank you so much for hopping in. Nico Holiday, thank you so much. Chris Lopez, Alex Corona. That's a very unfortunate name to have with everything going on in the world. I'm sorry about that, sir. Zachary B, thank you. Maximus 213, thank you. Gavin Andrews, Zachary B, Aaron Anders, Good Vibes, Slots, and Poker. Thank you so much for tuning in. King Dave or King Dav, thank you. Nope, thank you. And I think that's pretty much everybody. I want to say a huge shout out to everybody who's watching us. We're going to be back tomorrow, usual time, 3 p.m. to wrap up the week. I know Ethan J. Skolnick is going to join us tomorrow. I think we'll also talk some Miami Dolphins with Stephen Daniels. So Ethan's going to join us to talk primarily Miami Heat, but whatever we have on our minds, Ethan will chat with us. And Stephen Daniels, Stephen D. from Miami Sports Music will talk some Dolphins with us tomorrow. And our guy Lee Sterling is going to give us some more winners for the weekend. When it comes to gambling coverage, the people we have on every week, between Nick and Dylan from the Daily Stakes, Lee Sterling from Paramount Sports, Barry Barger from BetUS. You get more winners on this show than I think any other show that's not like strictly devoted to sports betting. Huge shout out to Sean Stanley and Manny Chang. Manny, have fun in Magic Kingdom. We will talk to everybody tomorrow, 3 p.m. right here on Donno Daily on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Ciao.